Okay, coming to you with another installment regarding Highlander, the card game 2nd edition. This video is about basic card types, to give you an idea of what the different types of cards are that are available in this game. Today I have my trusty minion, Andy, who will be moving the cards around and replacing them so I can focus on sharing information. So, say hi, Andy.
What up?
So, first, we're going to get started here with pregame cards. Highlander, the card game 2nd edition, has cards which represent your persona and various other cards that are in play at the beginning of the game. In this case, we have a rip card, which you can actually rip in half, especially in tournament play, to counter a special card or edge card as it's played by your opponent. We'll get to those card types here in a bit. But your persona basically gives your basic build of how you're going to build your deck and gives you your stats. So it's vital. You need a persona to play. There are also weapon of choice cards, which are a pregame, but those are not required to play. So you don't have to have a weapon because they all come with an advantage, but a downside as well. You are limited to 6 pregame cards in your deck, or in play, so to speak, per the rules. But there are some nifty cards and promos which allow you to kind of skirt those rules, especially crystals, which allow you to modify your basic attacks and blocks during deck construction, and they don't count at all. So those are fun little chase cards. So now that we're done with those, we're going to move on to defenses. This is a key category for any Highlander, the card game 2nd edition deck. On the left we have a basic block. There are 6 basic blocks covering standard grids, and once you get into the cards you'll know what all 6 of those basic blocks are. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of cards that only kick off when used with basic blocks. In this case you're basically just blocking with your sword. In the middle we have a guard, which is a non-basic block. This is also a standing defense in this case. So this defense can be kept up turn after turn to take on your opponent's incoming attacks. And the last one we have is a counter, which is a duck. That's a dodge. In that case, it represents your immortal moving out of the way instead of actually blocking with their sword. So those are your defenses. Next card type we're going to cover are attacks. The first one going out is a basic attack. There are 9 grid squares on the Swordmaster grid, and there is 1 basic attack for each spot. Then there are non-basic attacks, which is represented by the slash in the middle. Those are still red gridded attacks, and those represent you striking out your opponent with your sword. There are some cards that can only be used in conjunction with a non-special attack, and those are the red grids. On the right you have a special attack, in this case a pistol. You pull out a pistol, fire a bullet at your opponent. That's why it's a gold grid attack. It represents that it has something nifty and special to it. In this case, ranged attacks cannot be blocked, although they can be dodged per the basic rules. Unless you have something nifty like a shield, weapon of choice, which would allow you to block a pistol shot. So that's it for the attacks. Now we are moving on to edge cards. An edge card has the outstretched hand icon out in the upper left hand corner, and in this case it's an alertness card. A lot of these edge cards modify defenses or attacks or give you some special little nifty benefit, additional damage. They're real versatile. The nice part is you are not limited to how many of these you play in a turn. So you defend against your incoming attack from your opponent. You can then play as many edges as you want, and then you can play an attack to go after them. Which will then bring us to our final category, which are special cards. The first grouping of special cards that we're going to show, in this case, are situations, plots, and locations. So these are all classified as special cards, and there's a couple more that we have to show you still, but these are all categorized as special cards. Notice the logos. The situation is the little silhouetted guy. The plot is the gears, and the location, which in this case is dueling grounds, is the little architectural structure that's crumbling. So starting with situations, in this case it's a mortal ally. Situations are classified by the trait that they stay in effect or in play for multiple turns until they're taken out. Sometimes they have an ongoing effect, sometimes just a one-time effect, or sometimes you have to discard them in order to activate them. The plot in the middle, cat and mouse. Plots generally stay in play, and this one is nifty because it kicks off of itself. So you can have multiple sets of these cat and mouses in play, and every one you play has a cumulative effect. There are some plots that are three-parters, where you get all three parts of the plot out, and it kicks off some special effect. And then locations stay in play. They affect the dueling area, so to speak, conceptually, and they modify how characters can act in most cases.
Normally, situations only affect you. Locations affect both players.
And the next cards we have are an event and an object. These are also classified as special cards. Objects are actually gear that your Immortal has on them, and events are just that. They're just one-time events that trigger off, and they go away at the end of your turn, so that's pretty much it. For special cards, you are restricted to playing one special card per turn. There are some nifty effects that would allow you to play more than one special, but those are few and far between. For the most part, that's the basic rule, that you can only play one special per turn. And then, now we come to some oddball cards here, just to get you familiar with some of the logos and some of the symbology that's on these cards. So we have here what's referred to as a signature card on the left-hand side. If you notice in the upper right-hand corner, it's got three distinct symbols. First, it has the sword facing down or pointed down. That represents that it's a reserved card. Next, you'll notice it has a little number next to it. That little number is a restriction number. That's how many of that card you can have in your deck. Normally, you can have 6 of any card unless it has a restriction number on it. So in this case, that Chieftain's Claymore is restricted to 2, the Versus card is restricted to 2, and the Master's Agility is restricted to 2. Also, if you notice on the signature card, there's an S behind the sword. That means that it's signature. That means that under no circumstances can any other Immortal or character use that. Luckily, this is a Clan MacLeod item, so anyone with the last name MacLeod pretty much can use that in their deck. As far as the card in the middle, that's a dual card or a combo card. If you notice, it has the edge symbol in the upper left-hand corner and the event symbol in the upper right-hand corner. So depending on how you want to use it, you can use it as an edge or as an event, and each one has a different effect. Obviously, since you can only play one special a turn, the event power is usually a little more potent than the edge ability. And the last one is the Master's Agility. This kind of in here is an example. It's just a situation like normal that we went before, but this one specifically has the word Master in the title, which means it's a Master card. Immortals are restricted to a certain number of Master cards. Most of them it's 5. So you got to be careful how many Master cards you have in your deck. And also, if you notice, there are eggs at the bottom of all of the cards. And those eggs are what you use to build your deck. So your persona will tell you how many eggs you're allowed in your deck. If you notice, a Master card has the Master egg and 2, in this case, 2 agility eggs with it. So this one card takes up 3 slots. So they're very costly, but they are very potent cards. So that pretty much covers the basic card types. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next video.